political commentator. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of the Volpe Bazzo Report. I'm your co-host, Domenic Volpe. With us tonight is Andy Bazzo.
Welcome back from Florida and the Mai Tais.
We're working in the heat of the back of the dry cleaning store, 125 degrees. That's not the...
You know, Michael Grace actually presents a better picture than you do, and, he's pretty good at this stuff.
Are you calling Michael Grace a pretty boy?
No, I'm trying to say that you could be replaced.
Might have to change the name of the show soon.
That's right.
He's a beautiful man.
Actually, I want to...
Oh, wait a minute.
Yes, that's right. We have our full crew. We have our full crew.
Darren Rigger.
It doesn't feel right.
My first show ever with Domenic Volpe.
The first show
I'm
ever.
excited.
Don't be nervous.
Ryan's back with us
Don't be
tonight.
nervous. We're good.
Right.
It's a full house.
We got a regular crew because, we got to say hello to Marion
Mary
McCara.
We meant to say hello. We don't.
Our number one fan.
Number one fan. Make sure you let everybody know in the world that.
And don't forget Christine Scotty, his other half, that puts the programs on YouTube.
That's right, Brian's better half.
We are on 3 days a week now. Wednesday at 9:30. Night, 7:30 p.m. on Saturday, and 11 a.m. on Monday. So when you're having morning sex and you're in the afterglow, you can turn on our show.
And a little birdie told me that a lot of the other programming seems to want to come on to Wednesday before and after our segments.
Also the other hours.
And the other hours.
It's good for the ratings.
Why is that?
Well, that's why we were asked to do two more shows. Two more showings, yes.
Right.
Basically, Andy Bazzo is the Mike Francesa of the public access.
Correct.
They needed him back.
No, it's Darren.
Oh, okay.
So it's Darren.
Maybe it is Darren.
Yeah.
So does that make me Chris Mad Dog Russo?
No,
Yes.
Darren,
Yes.
Darren is our resident sex symbol.
I watch it on YouTube. I watch on YouTube, and then I stop. I delete my cookies, and then watch it again, and then so I can run up on numbers a little bit.
What about your cookies?
By the way, we got to do something about this table.
Right. How about a potted plant? Some Marion McCara thinks we should have a potted plant.
How about a plant with pot?
Now, with four dudes like this, a potted plant will look strange.
It will look strange.
How about we smoke some pot and look at a plant?
I think people assume we already do by our
Are
conversation.
you voting for Cynthia Nixon? Is that what's going on over here now?
Hey, if she loses, you won't have Nixon to kick around anymore.
Lame.
Now, listen, I had a customer today in my car. And I'm going to mention his name because it was
in your cab.
In my cab, yes.
Right.
Ernest Hayward. And everybody knows him. And he says he was talking to a friend at work today. And they were talking about the weather.
Did he give you permission
to
tell the world?
He said it would be a good topic.
Do we have to bleep out his name now?
No. Anyway, he said the guy at work says it's not the weather, it's the seasons that are controlling everything because leap year, they add a day. Now, right, for every 4 years they add a day, so everything is pushed up a day. So now you say this has gone on, let's say, for 300 years, though it's gone on longer. But for 300 years, they pushed it up a day. So now, March is April. April is May, season-wise, which is why the winters seem to be longer, starting later and lasting longer. He's saying it's because of the leap year, that extra day pushing up, it's changed the way the seasons fall in the calendar.
Oh, so he's saying what we should do is leap back.
No, he's saying all these people that are saying, oh, it's global warming, it's this, that's causing the weather. No, our days have moved.
I don't think it works that way.
Yeah, I don't think.
Why?
Because
do we know what the seasons have been like in Japan the past 20 years? We know what they've been like in Peekskill, New York. You're gonna base everything on Peekskill, New York?
I live in Yorktown.
Fine. We have no idea if it was an early spring or a late spring in Japan for crying out loud.
But also, that's presuming
It's
that everything
ridiculous.
But this guy
is
doesn't live in
365
Peekskill.
days
What does he
calendar.
do for a living?
This guy doesn't live in
Where does he
Peekskill.
live?
I have no idea.
Somewhere probably in the Hudson Valley?
Who knows? But it's a thought saying, if you think about it, everything moves up a day every 4 years.
I'd rather not think about it.
I don't think it works like that, though.
I mean, if let's say I was born on February 29th, instead of being 63, I'd be 29.
Right, because it's only once every 4
Right,
years.
yeah, and I'd only be 29. How nice would that be, to be 29 again with gray hair? But it would look
I
terrible.
think you're driving people to CNN.
Yeah,
we
but
should,
there's
we should
a
talk about
thing
something else.
called, the rotation of the Earth, and there's this.
Yes,
Yeah.
but
and it's called summer solstice, and the
I'm
autumnal
pretty sure it's just
equinox.
yeah.
Those things don't change that much.
Yeah, I'm pretty
but
sure. you
when
don't
we
just add a day.
recognize them, we recognize spring is March 21st.
Right.
Yet March 21st, when they said that's the beginning of spring, is not where it was how many years ago, because we
Right,
kept
so that's-
pushing it up with that 29.
So when it was 80 degrees in February this year, how did this play in? And then 3 weeks later it was 20 degrees. How did this work? Explain it.
I don't know. I'm just telling you what was thrown out
So
to the
that's
car.
what
I
I'm
thought
saying.
it was
So
an
what's his
interesting.
answer? In other words, we should.
I wasn't there to talk to
We know
him.
war is
So
not
we
the
should
answer.
leap back then, is what I'm saying. Instead of going now, so then for the next 20 years, what we should do is
Could we leap
instead
back
of going
5 minutes?
forward,
Leap
Right, we
should
only
go
stop
back.
at the 27th.
Right.
We stop at the 27th every 4 years.
That's why it was spring today.
Cool.
I think for non-union workers, we should have 2 December 25ths, so the non-union workers can get 2 days off.
I'm not going to try to change the subject, but I'm pretty sure Melania Trump is dead.
Well, somebody on CNN said that Trump goes and beats her up in the basement.
Why in the basement?
I
Who
don't
knows?
I don't know. I mean, there's enough. But Darren was talking about something interesting before we were rolling camera. And this is June 5th. And next week, our next showing taping will be in July. And Darren is going
Or is
to
it
wear...
really going to be in June or really be in August?
But Darren's going to...
It'll be in July, but it'll
Darren-
feel
Andy
like,
has not been smoking pot
Darren-
today.
feel like August.
Darren is going to wear
Right.
a towel and a Speedo.
Yeah.
Because he's our resident sex symbol. Shows you how pitiful we are. He's the resident sex symbol. But Darren was talking before the show about the turmoil going on in the Democrat Party.
What a mess.
Because Trump sucks up all the air with all the headlines. But there is stuff going on, and there is turmoil. And being that Darren...
And there's been
is
turmoil going on
probably-
for at least 2 years.
Yeah.
Darren is probably one of the smartest inside players I've ever known. I've said this, I've written this, and I believe this because he's worked on presidential candidates. Gore, right?
I worked on a lot of them, but the
But
Democratic
you
Party.
did county executive races, you did
Yeah.
congressional races, you've done local races. You
Local from
have a
city
resume
council up, yeah.
from all the way up.
But I've never seen the party in sort of the turmoil that they're in right now. And also
Would you say
the-
identity crisis?
Identity crisis, absolutely.
So explain.
Absolutely. So I think that we really have two factions within the Democratic Party. Anyone who
Which are the
considers
two?
themselves,
What are the two?
Well, you would say like the regular Democrats, kind of traditional Democrats.
You know, a
which,
lot
by
of
the way,
a lot of Democrat voters have identity issues
were
too. They don't
pretty
know what they are.
pretty liberal, right? Like you start to look at Nancy Pelosi,
Yes.
Hillary Clinton, Andrew Cuomo.
Would not be mistaken for conservatives.
Would not be mistaken for. And meanwhile, the fight is between them and this raging far left-wing group. Sort of-
Teach out Nixon, that group.
Correct.
Well, and
Cynthia
they
Nixon.
who's the
teach out, but really they're
Bernie
all
Sanders.
kind of Bernie Sanders disciples of
Yeah.
that whole kind of movement.
So
that they're
more
on.
the progressive wing.
No, not even. I consider myself the progressives, right? They're out there. Matter of fact, and
So
this is
they're
what
more
my
like
complaint.
elitist.
There's a woman running against Congressman Joe Crowley, who I think Joe is a terrific guy, and she's running, and her latest ad says that she is more liberal because she is endorsed by the Socialist Party of America and by the Working Family Party. And it's like, well, when did you getting endorsed by entire other parties make me want to support you as a nominee in my party? And it literally, it's like a hostile, they're trying like a hostile takeover of the Democratic Party.
This has been coming for a while, even before Sanders, because you saw it with Teach Out's first primary against Cuomo 4 years ago.
Now the Nixon thing is really,
Cynthia Nixon.
Cynthia
Now
Nixon is
explain
blowing
to
it
me.
out.
Explain to me why a person like Cynthia
Is
Nixon.
she getting any real traction? I know she's got all the media hype. Is she getting any real traction?
I think so. And what's going to happen though is look, no one votes in Democratic primaries. No one votes in primaries. So right now we're looking at. I work with Congresswoman Carolyn Maloney. She represents 750,000 people. 15,000 voted in the last primary.
So it's
That's
less than one. It's not even 1%.
15,000 out of 750,000.
Well, that's always the story, yeah. In those
So,
primaries.
can someone rally 15,000 people for them out of that 750,000? That's
Right,
the
so
fear.
So
That's
Nixon
the fear.
could be doing well in the papers and in the press, but that doesn't bring the people to go out and vote in the primary.
Right.
What day is that? The first week in September?
Although,
but the
kids are back
those
in
tend to
school.
be, I think, the fired up voters. Is
Yeah,
that what
but the
you're
people
concerned
that are
about?
going to
Not the
vote
primary.
And now we
the
have
people that are
the
going to
Bernie
vote in the
Sanders type will vote in
primary are
primaries.
the radicals.
we have a huge local problem too, because I was just talking about this earlier. The congressional primaries are June 26th. Sean Patrick Maloney, who congressman represents right near us, right? Putnam
District
County.
18.
Right next to us.
Yeah,
He's
right next
District
to us.
18,
Parts
lowest
of northern
19.
Westchester,
So
Dutchess,
he starts
whatever.
Putnam, right? Is where
No, he's part of Yorktown. Very small.
Oh, very
He's got a very,
Yeah.
he's got no parts of northern Westchester, like Bedford.
oh, that's right, the Bedford area.
Yeah.
So Sean Patrick Maloney, who I think is a
do
strong
it
candidate and would run for re-election, would be re-elected. We need every seat we can get to try to win back the House of Representatives for the Democrats. Now Sean Patrick Maloney is announcing that he's going to run in the primary for Attorney General
Of New York State.
of New York State, and no one knows if that's even legal because he's already on the ballot to run for Congress. So now, once he wins the Democratic primary for Congress, now he's going to try to win the Democratic primary for Attorney General.
Now, answer me a
I
question.
don't even know if that's legal.
Answer me a question. We're in New York, which is an entirely blue state. Since when does legality have any play in the Democrat Party?
We'll see.
In
'cause
New York.
lawsuits will start flying if he wins. They'll start to wonder what ballot. And what do you do? Let's say he wins
They
the
may
primary.
even wonder if he was born in the United States.
If he wins the primary, what does that mean?
It
You
means
know?
your
Does
party.
that mean we lose the seat? Does that mean a Republican takes
Does that mean
congressional
anybody
seat?
just because they're on the other gets the vote?
Does that mean whoever is the
Right.
Republican? I don't even know if there's a Republican running in that race.
But
As
by
I said
the-
to you earlier, I would think that they would have this figured out
But by
when he made
dividing-
that decision.
by
Right?
dividing-
You would think that they would have figured this out.
But here's the mixed
So
signal.
I kinda
Kathleen
think,
Rice, who's a congresswoman, looked at it because she coveted that seat. She ran years ago for attorney general. She wanted it. She announced that she can't because she
Remember the
legally
Ten
prohibited.
Commandments?
Because
Thou
she's a
shalt not
congresswoman?
covet thy neighbor's seat.
Yep.
Oh, no, that's thy neighbor's property.
but the larger problem in the party, I think, and you said hostile takeover, I would almost say I don't blame them for being hostile because of what happened in 2016 when it was cooked up and rigged, Hillary and the DNC against Sanders. I think that
There was fallout.
your wing had this coming because of that. I think let's placate the socialists. Let's placate them. You know, and then, for instance, even going back to 2006, we're going to stop the Iraq
But
War if we get,
should-
and then they didn't.
waived the rules and let him run, even though he wasn't a member of the Democratic Party.
Right,
And that
but
was
then
the
once
cardinal error.
once he became a player, they cheated, and now his people are pissed off, and they're not afraid to. Now they're like, "F this." I'm not a Democrat. I'm a socialist, and I'm proud, and they're coming in. So I don't know what you're
Why
going
don't
to
they
do.
just run on their own party line? That's what I don't understand.
They've almost been like a parasite on the Democrat Party in a way, right?
They've almost been, you know what, you can almost make the comparison. Look at what the Tea Party first started out when all of a sudden a lot of their candidates, they were forcing the Republican Party to go back from,
Right.
to stay away from moderate and to come back more
Get away
towards
from
a
Bush. Right.
to go more a conservative stance. And look what happened in those next couple of years. There were a lot of races that they
Well,
won.
they still have a problem with the Freedom Caucus every now and then.
Right.
The Freedom Caucus is
They have
very,
70
very
seats.
I would say the Freedom Caucus has a problem with the rest of the Yahoos, but I just like, and we said this too. Okay, someone watching this could say, well, what about on the other side? A conservative. I'm running for office. I'm a Republican, but I want the Conservative Party,
Right.
Because I want the conservatives to know that I'm, you know. So I'm gonna brag that I'm got the conservative, of course, as well. You know, so how do you see the difference between Republicans, how they deal with conservatives, and the Democrats, how they're dealing with socialists?
The old saying
Yeah.
was the tail that wags the dog. That's what the conservatives.
Yeah, but you look
Well,
what
it tried
Trump
to
did.
be,
Yeah, but
but-
look how Trump undid
Look what's
everything.
happening with Michael Grimm's seat. It's not Michael Grimm's seat. Who's the Republican?
Donovan.
Donovan's seat.
Staten Island.
It used to be
He
Grimm's
might
seat.
lose. He might lose the primary to Grimm.
Yeah, but now this is what
And if
happened.
he loses the primary to Grimm, there's a couple good, sort of moderate Democrats
I
running
can't
out there.
see that. I mean, who
Trump
knows,
has
but-
shown, what Trump has shown is that New York is antiquated in allowing cross endorsements of parties.
yeah.
New York is only one of 4 states that still allow it.
Now, explain how Trump has shown that.
Because he showed that the Conservative Party are a bunch of whores. He was a New York liberal socially all his life. He runs as a Republican. And he hasn't
For presidency.
moderated most of his socially liberal views. He didn't denounce his pro Roe versus Wade stance. He never renounced that. He just never talked about it.
He said that he used to be pro-abortion, now he's against it. Now that went Roe v. Wade is something completely different. I understand what you're saying.
Right, but he is for paid family leave for women.
Right.
I mean, he hasn't.
Well, he's
yet-
pro-gay marriage.
Yes, yet the Conservative Party rushed to endorse him
The Conservative Party in New York, you're saying.
in New York.
Well,
because
why wouldn't
they needed the votes to show up on the ballot.
You are talking about political animals, after
Yes,
all.
but and he's showing, and you're seeing now Cuomo showed the Working Families Party to be political whores.
But wait a second, real quick, against your argument, I mean, you're talking about endorsements, but conservatives and religious conservatives across the country have supported Trump.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not just the party
because
of bosses doing this.
Right, but we're talking about the bosses do the endorsements. But the fact of the matter is, Trump showed that the only thing that people really care about are not the social issues, but the pocketbook issues. He said, you've got a candidate that's saying, this is as good as it's going to get an anemic economy. This is it.
Well, they said nothing more than 3% growth ever again.
They were never going to see that
Right,
3%.
Right, what a bunch of
I said,
nonsense.
you were best promised an anemic economy. Trump says, I can do better. I can make your life better. He goes into these blue states, into the minority community, says, 40 years these people have told you they were going to make your life better, and they've given you crap. Not only that, they ignore you after Election Day and only come back every 4 years.
Well,
what do you got to lose by giving
take
me
this
a
back
shot?
to the Democrat
So
issue
now,
of the party.
now you have the lowest black unemployment in history. You have the
Whoa,
lowest.
whoa. Where the hell did you get that?
That's been in all the news for the last week and two.
And Hispanic.
Yes, and Hispanic. This,
Where'd you
Dominic,
get-
if you haven't seen it, don't question it.
Listen. That's totally false.
No, it isn't.
That's totally false.
No, it isn't.
It's the highest unemployment in blacks across
No,
the country
no.
ever.
Are you going to admit it or
Come
not?
on, what are you kidding me?
No.
I don't know.
Even the
I-
no.
I-
The only thing
that's
I
not
heard
made
was-
up. Wait.
was the
So
administration
are
said
we
it.
using then the 4 years ago when Obama said once you're off the unemployment rolls you no longer count? Are
No.
we still
No.
using that?
Don't-
or did
let
we
me
put the
respond.
people?
All
Come on.
right,
All
Wait,
I'm going to
wait.
say is
that's
all I'm gonna say-
cookbooks
what-
right there. You know that.
All I'm
Come
going
on.
to
Are
say
you
is this.
freaking serious
Dominic,
or
real
what?
quick. The New York Times,
Yeah.
Right.
3 days ago,
Okay.
said this economy is doing so well, we are at a loss for words.
Okay.
That's from the New York
Okay.
Times.
All right, let me ask
That's
you
not
something.
from
Let me ask you-
Breitbart News
What- okay,
or
so
Trump.
there are three sectors
So,
that in the economy that work. They are financial, the automotive, and then you get to housing. Which of those three, two were already good going into. Wait, let me finish. Two of them were already good going into it 2 years ago. Which one just rebounded in the last 2 years?
Manufacturing.
No, not manufacturing.
Yes.
Housing.
Manufacturing.
Housing. That's 35% of our
Manufacturing
workforce.
has bounced
no,
back.
35% of our workforce.
Manufacturing
Listen, don't tell
has
me
bounced
because all
back.
the guys that came into the stores that were plumbers, electricians, carpenters now are working for the past 10 years. They haven't had a job.
Manufacturing.
And that's because the housing.
Get out of New York!
What has housing gone up or down in the past 2 years?
It has gone, but get out of New York.
It's gone up.
Get
and guess
the
what?
hell out of New York.
You know what a permit is for a water tap? That means
Get
it's a new house
out
being
of
built.
got any play this
Don't
weekend?
tell me
New
I'm
York.
not. No, give me,
Get out of
I'm
New
I'm
York.
out of New York.
No,
I'm
you're
all over
not.
My father just got back from Florida.
Manufacturing in the
Florida
Midwest.
is building more than they ever done before.
Manufacturing in
No,
the
manufa-
Midwest
Listen,
has come back.
Listen, air conditioning company went to Mexico. They didn't stay. Hate to say it. Okay?
That's not
They-
just the
they
manufacturing.
never. That was all bull. That's all press. That's all PR. The fact is that the housing industry is the reason why 30% of the United States is back to work, and has nothing to do with Trump. It's because that's the way it goes. After 7 years of it being a lull, and guess what? More people, and there's a need again. Demand and supply has nothing to do with Trump.
I will say that within weeks of the tax cuts passing, and I think you remember this, company after company,
Doesn't
announced.
affect the housing industry.
So
I'm not
giving
talking
people more money didn't affect them.
announced that they were going to be hiring a lot more, creating and expanding. It happened under Reagan. It happens. It's a fact of life. It's happened here. So we're not going to agree on that. It
If
doesn't
you
matter to
take
me.
away-
There's a
if you
reason
take
that
away-
Hillary lost, and
if-
it wasn't because the people in the upper Midwest were happy or Pennsylvania. Things were not doing well, okay? We know that was, okay? There's a reason he won. He won. Things are doing well now. Let's just,
Listen,
the New York
Hillary-
Times admits it. I don't think I can say about
listen,
it.
Except
Hillary, you
if
keep
you look
on
at
going back to the Hillary
retirements
thing,
right
though.
now, a
We
lot of
are
people are
leading
getting
the
wiped,
world.
not wiped out.
No,
but
we're not.
they're down. They're
Petroleum
down.
exports.
No,
Well,
we're not.
Yes.
I don't know because I don't look at
we're
my
not.
Yes.
reports.
was just then again.
but
He
Trump's
just put a
approval
tariff
ratings
against
are-
Canada, saying
Part of
that
that is-
that we
it's
have
just
that we
erratic.
have fewer exports
Yeah, I
going
mean,
back
Wall
and
Street
forth.
goes
But
down,
the fact
goes
is
down
that
for
we have
everything.
more
And the
exports going to
export of
Canada.
They can't
fossil
figure out how to
fuel.
invest.
Oh yeah, and we
That
went from
came back.
and we
Three
went
people
from
know how to do it. It's
250
about
a
it. I don't
gallon.
know
Now
how to
we're
do it.
320 a gallon. So is that good or bad for blue collar or white collar workers or family workers? We're paying 70% more, 70 cents more
And
per
that-
gallon than it was a year ago. Why?
Yeah, so-
That-
What, is there,
Roseanne, unemployed.
Is there all of a sudden there's
Colin
something wrong?
Kaepernick,
Is there
unemployed.
no
Nobody,
oil
I don't feel bad for
flowing?
either one of them.
Why are we paying 70%? Why is dry cleaning fluid up $6 a
Because
gallon
it's
more
made
than
with
it was?
petroleum.
So,
beer's
so
gonna go up with
why,
aluminum.
if we're doing so good?
Why did
All I know is I want my plastic
price
bags.
of oil go
Why
up?
did oil? We just
I don't want people taking away my plastic
bags.
we were
Understand,
paying $1.99.
Would you like it
now
on
we're
a-
paying $2.80.
Would you like it?
Well,
Would you like it on a
Yeah,
sale?
where is it better?
Okay,
Listen,
number
man,
one.
to me,
OPEC drastically
upside
cut
down.
back production.
I don't care about OPEC. According to Trump, we have enough reserves here that we don't need
Well, we
OPEC.
can't refine it.
Why not?
Because we're not.
I mean,
we're
it's
not
put it to
building.
work.
So
We're not
you know,
building
like the whole healthy
refineries.
lunch.
Why
It's
not?
like-
He's the president.
We're not building.
You got a
refi-
Republican Congress. You got a Republican
Those
Senate.
are state-
Pass a law to refine it.
There's got to be a reason why.
on.
There's got to be a reason.
Come
I lost the
on,
conversation.
bullshit.
There has to be a
Dominic,
reason. Why?
Yes.
The refineries are built in states.
I don't wanna hear about
and
the
they are
refineries.
subject to
Listen.
the environmental codes of the state. Pipelines. You cannot.
You got more
New Jersey.
manufacturing than ever before. So why can't they build a
New Jersey
refinery?
has
Because you
those
can't
codes.
get the states to allow the pipelines
They do.
to
They
be
just don't really
built.
mean
So
anything.
let them truck it.
Too many Italians. I'm half Italian. I'm not. We're talking about New Jersey.
We're saying-
We're not talking about you guys.
That's why the refineries are all in New Jersey, because there are no codes in New Jersey.
Yeah, that's right.
There's no
I will
rules.
say this though: there is a reason that the New York Times is speechless, and that Trump's approval rating is going up. That's not out of magic. There is something going on. Now, and there's a reason why on congressional ballots, Republicans are doing 10 points better than they were 6 months ago.
And the generic
you,
ballot,
you,
yes.
you look at all this and say there's a reason for all this, because the media coverage certainly hasn't changed. So there is a reason, there is a reality on the ground. So you guys can scream and yell, but there is some sort of reality being felt.
Well, let me put it this way. So if you're talking about that, the Republicans now all of a sudden that they're doing better in their congressional races.
Yeah, right.
But
Well, yeah.
those are polling, correct?
Yeah,
That's not the actual. We haven't voted yet.
right.
So when are we gonna? When is
Well, the approval rating's up too. That's polling too.
No,
It's
I
all
know, but
polling.
that's approval rating is like the economy. It's like this the stock market. One day it goes up 800, next day it goes
But-
down 500, next day it goes. So which one is it?
But
How does
a
a company that
national
makes
poll
$3
like that-
billion all of a sudden lose 30 cents on the stock?
What I
How
think
is
we're
that?
learning from national polls,
How is that?
Each individual, I don't know.
right? They don't really. What we learned from Hillary's campaign, right, is national polls just don't matter.
Right.
Right.
That's
So what matters
in
is
other words,
if you have to
November's
pick
gonna
up
matter.
5 seats, you're
Okay.
looking at 5 swing
Just
seats.
from this side of the conversation.
Polling Jerry Nadler in Manhattan doesn't matter, and polling
No,
some
right,
guy
right.
in North Dakota doesn't matter. So
Right.
you're right about the national polls, though.
Right.
But-
So all we have to go by, if we can't go by any numbers, then we can't talk about anything.
well, then let's
so,
do this.
so
So
Congress,
let's go by
though,
the races.
The
And we certainly
Republicans in
can't-
Congress
In the
have
last 5
40
races.
retirements.
In-
40 retirements.
I know.
And it's huge. And
In
all
the-
we need is 20 seats.
In the last, then Brian, how about this? Let's go with facts. In the last 5 races that were of importance,
Where?
in the Senate or congressional, across
Special
the-
elections you're talking about?
In the special elections, how did Democrats fare?
They did very well.
So, so
wait,
forget
wait.
about
Well,
the approval
no, but-
rating.
okay, well-
In other words, that's the fact. Everyone said that Hillary was going to win by 20 points. And what happened is Trump wins, and now he thinks he's got a mandate to rule the world.
Dominic,
it doesn't work
What
that
you
way.
are saying, you are saying now is 6 months behind.
No.
When those races were going on, Trump was way down. The economy, all the numbers from everyone, whether
The
they were all
economy
way
came up
down.
right away. The
No,
stock market was
no.
up.
The stock market, but the hard numbers on jobs and especially on optimism, all this stuff that has come up, especially in the last. Basically this spring, since midwinter on.
Correct.
And a lot of those races were held late last year or during the winter this year. So that's not a leading
And they
indicator
were
of
in
anything.
blue states
That's
already.
behind.
Okay.
So I don't care about that, but that's not a leading indicator.
So, but I'm saying is, and I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing
Okay.
with you at all. But I'm just saying. But forget the polling. Wait until the
Well, you have to wait till election day,
You have to
of
wait for the
course.
elections because
Well,
if
no
all
one
of a sudden,
says we- yeah.
so if Congress then goes right back to the Democrats and the Senate becomes 50-50, so what good was the polling at that point? Nothing.
Well,
Nothing.
Well, look,
Or
it's
if the
at a
Republicans hold
snap,
the seat.
you could argue. You would probably agree. Well, you've run for office. polling is worthless at any one snapshot in time.
Correct.
You see trend lines, and whether someone is oversampling the Republicans in the nation or Democrats by 5 points, you can look at trends and figure out what is going on, the mood of the country. And it's indisputable right now as we sit here. What are we in early June? That the mood of the country and the approval ratings of the economy are way up. That I know it has. Democrats have commented on the record that's something they're worried about. So that is a reality going on. I don't.
James,
James
Carville has a great quote. James Carville says, the election is not about me, and the election is not about you.
You even sound
the
like him a little
election
bit.
is about the voter, and what is on the minds and concerns of the voter. Not now. On election.
Exactly.
Day.
Yes.
And if you gamble right, if you're running on tough on crime, and I'm running on education, and we walk into the polls that day, if education is on the minds of the voters, I'm going to win.
You win.
What about
crime
if the
is on the
economy,
minds of the
stupid?
voter,
Or if it's the
economy.
In
That's
92.
right.
Exactly.
Okay, we are on June 5th. And 2 years ago, we were in June when I said Trump was going to win, and you all laughed at me.
No, I
didn't
You all
laugh.
laughed at me.
I laughed.
You did not think.
No,
Okay,
we
you
did
didn't
not.
laugh, but you said I was wrong.
I was all in.
You all told me I was wrong.
No,
on that.
Yeah, you were.
I never
I was
said
all in.
that.
I was full
remember
SNL.
being
I was
quite
dance
alone.
party.
You
dancing
didn't
at the
believe in
convention.
Trump was going to win
I
the
agreed
Republican
with you.
primary.
I agree. No, you're wrong. I agreed with you.
He says,
I thought
you didn't
Rubio was going to
agree.
win the primary. I thought Trump would win the election. You called it from the start. I'll bow down to you. But as I bow, I want to.
Actually,
I
I
want
need
to say
hope
for the
for
record.
understand.
Right.
Let me tell you what I think. I'm gonna
You
tell
did
you-
think Romney would win New York
I'm
State.
going to
in
tell you what
2012.
I see now. And I did not predict 3 million people that voted for McCain not going to the polls. I couldn't see that coming. I should have, because all Romney did during his entire campaign was yell at the conservatives, call them no good. So they said, well,
Horrible
screw you,
candidate.
I'm not going to come out.
Horrible candidate.
I
you don't
didn't
ever
see- I
call them
didn't-
deplorable. It pisses them off.
I didn't see this. But
Oh, really?
We are on July.
I noticed
June
that. I
5th.
wrote that down.
We're on June 5th, and this is what I see trending. And this is what I see happening. Because Trump has driven the Democrats absolutely nuts, you can see from Dominic's performance tonight. They
I
are
just got a
defend-
text from my wife. You want to hear it says, Andy, you couldn't hit water if you fell out of a boat.
You're probably right. But anyway, the Democrats have now been defending MS-13. It's in my column, Chuck
The
Schumer.
Democrats defend.
Yes, Chuck Schumer.
I didn't know that.
I told you got to read the column.
Where do you come up with this stuff?
Chuck Schumer's tweet. He said that the MS-13 people
So Democrats
are like
defend
your
MS-13,
grandfather.
and Trump defends the Communist Party.
I'll defend
I'll
that.
take MS-13 before the Communist
Oh,
Party.
that's bad.
The Republicans want to ban football.
I'm telling you right now.
They want to ban
No,
the
they
NFL.
don't. Let me finish.
Joe McCarthy is turning
finish.
over
You
in
won't
his
be able to
grave
watch
every
football.
time
Come
Donald Trump
November.
talks about the Communist
Come
Party.
November, because the Democrats are becoming in an untenable
You know what
position.
Paul Manafort had in his secret files?
I'm telling you now, because the Democrats are in an untenable position, they have to run and tell you a good economy is a lousy
The
economy.
Russian thing hasn't worked.
It's not
for them,
going to work either.
which is the
People don't
problem
care
for them.
about Russians and strippers.
The reality
they
is it's
care
a problem
about
for them.
paying the rent.
Right.
They care about paying the rent.
Okay.
And as long as the Democrats are going to say MS-13 should be part of a sanctuary state and the Fed shouldn't deport them, and they're doing this, and as long as they say that the economy sucks when people see more money in their paycheck, and when they keep defending
How do you
Hamas,
see more money in their paycheck? Where
people
do you
are
see this?
from their bonuses.
What bonuses?
They got bonuses.
Did you get a bonus this
Actually,
year?
wages
I'm
are stagnant.
self-employed.
Did I get a bonus this year?
You
Did
know
get a
yourself.
bonus?
You know, you guys-
Did you get a bonus this year?
Yes, that's why the Peekskill Post is not active anymore.
People working for
Darren,
me.
did you
That is actually a problem because the wages have stagnated.
They haven't stagnated.
Yes,
They've gone
they
up.
have.
They've gone up.
No.
Well, hold on a second.
Oh God.
You know, we're ending now. I was gonna say, you know what hurts you guys? You're being led, and you're being led by the media. When the media misquotes Trump as saying,
You're going to ban football.
no, about the illegal immigrants, when they said he called them animals, but in reality he called MS-13 animals. You guys, your party jumped on that and started defending him, killing him on that. And then it came out that he was calling MS-13, and that's what caused this. It's been spun.